Lesson 70, solve inequalities by multiplying or dividing. Just to review the inequality symbols here, we got less than, we got greater than, we got less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, and does not equal to. Let's take a look at multiplying by a positive number. So if we multiply, the multiplication property of inequality says that if A is greater than B, then I can multiply C on both sides, and AC will still be greater than BC. So let's take a look at our example here. Half x is less than or equal to 8. To get x by itself, I do the opposite of dividing by half, or multiplying by half, which would be multiplying by 2. So 2 times half is just x. Or I do on one side the sign of the equation, I do on the other side. So 8 times 2. 8 times 2 is 16, so x has to be less than or equal to 16. Then I can graph it, put a point at 16. Need to use a closed circle because it can equal 16. Less than means it goes to the left. And to check my answer, I need a number less than 16. I will choose 10. So half times 10 is that can be less than 8. Half of 10 is 5. 5 is less than 8, so my answer is correct. Next one. 1/3 of x is greater than or equal to 2. So do the reciprocal of 1/3, which is 3. 1/3 times 3 is x. Whatever I do on one side, I do on the other. So multiply by 3. X is greater than or equal to 6. Draw my number line. I have my 6 down, has the equal to sign, so I know it's a filled in circle. Greater than means goes to the right. Check my answer. A number greater than 6, I'll choose 9. 9 times 1/3 has to be greater than or equal to 2. 9 times 1/3 is 3. 3 is greater than or equal to 2, so x is greater than or equal to 6. Next one, 1/3 is less than 2. Reciprocal of 1/3 is 3. So multiply by 3 on both sides. End up with x is less than 6. Number line. We have an open circle on 6 because it doesn't have the equal to sign. Less than means it goes to the left. Pick a number less than 6. Choose 3. Multiply that by 1/3. See if that is less than 2. 3 times 1/3 is 1. Less than 2. 1 is less than 2. You'll notice the numbers that I'm choosing, if I have a fraction, I'm choosing a number that's divisible by the denominator of the fraction. So I chose 3 in this example because I know that 3 is divisible by 3. And it makes the math a lot easier. I can do it in my head. I don't have to worry about fractions or decimals. Next one, what about if we have a negative number involved? So when we have a negative number involved, when you multiply by a negative number, you're going to have to flip the symbol. So if it was less than, you're going to have to go to greater than. Or if it was greater than, you have to go to the less than. Always, everything else stays the same. So negative 1/5 times x, the reciprocal of negative 1/5 is a negative 5. So multiply by a negative 5. This will just give us x. Whatever I do on one side, I do on the other. So since I multiply by a negative number on both sides, I flip the symbol. 5 times negative 5 is negative 25. Number line, negative 25. Doesn't have the equal to sign, so it's an open circle. Greater than means to the right. To check my answer, I need a number greater than negative 25. So I'm going to choose a negative 20. So negative 20 times a negative 1/5. This has to be less than 5. Negative 20 times a negative 1/5 is a positive 4. 4 is less than 5, so I know my answer is correct. Next one, we got negative half x is less than 7. The reciprocal of negative half is negative 2, so I multiply by negative 2 on both sides. This becomes 1x. Because I multiply by a negative number, I flip the symbol. Negative 2 times 7 is a negative 14. Number line, negative 14. As an open circle on 14, it's got to be greater than, so to the right. Pick a number greater than negative 14. I'll choose a negative 12. Negative 12 times a negative half has to be less than 7. Negative half of 12 is positive 6. 6 is less than 7. Therefore, this would be my answer. Next one, we have negative 1/4 x is less than 8. So I'll multiply by a negative 4 on both sides. So now I have x is now greater than a negative 32. Number line at negative 32. Put an open circle on 32. Greater than means it's going to the right. Check, pick a number greater than 32. I'm going to choose a number that's divisible by 4, so that would be negative 28. Negative 28 times a negative 1/4 has to be less than 8. Negative 28 divided by negative 4 is positive 7. 7 is less than 8. So this would be my answer. When it comes to division, we do the same thing with positive and negative numbers. So we could get r by itself, divide by 3 on both sides. We have 18 divided by 3 is 6. 6 is greater than r, or you can think of it as r is less than 6. Now if we put on our graph here, this is where you need to go from the variable. So I would look at this one to write my graph. So r is less than 6, open circle on 6. Less than means it has to go to the right, or to the left. Check our answer, a number less than 6. I'll choose, let's just choose 5. So 18 has to be greater than 3 times 5. 18 is greater than 15. So my inequality is correct. Next one, 21 is greater than 7. X divided by 7 on both sides. 21 divided by 7 is 3. 3 is greater than x, or you can think of it as x is less than 3. Number line, got an open circle. Less than 3 means it's got to go to the left. Check my answer, number less than 3. I'll just choose 2. So 21 is greater than 7 times 2. 21 is greater than 14. Another one, 6w is less than or equal to 57. Divide by 6 on both sides. W is less than or equal to, here you can have it as, you can either keep it as a fraction or put it as a decimal. 57 divided by 6 would give us 9.5. So number line, 9.5. Need to have a filled in circle. Less than means to the left. So pick a number less than 9.5. I'll just choose 9. So 6 times 9 has to be less than or equal to 57. 6 times 9 is 54. 54 is less than 57. Now when it comes to dividing by a negative number, just like multiplication, you need to flip the symbol. So divide by negative 4 on both sides. So m is now less than or equal to a negative 7/4. Negative 7/4 So decimal would be a negative 1.75. Number line, negative 1.75. Have an open filled in circle. Less than means it goes to the left. So picking number less than negative 1.75, choose a negative 2. So negative 4 times a negative 2 has to be greater than or equal to 7. Negative 4 times negative 2 is 8. 8 is greater than or equal to 7. And the next one here. Negative 5x is less than or equal to 30. Divided by negative 5. So x is now greater than or equal to a negative 6. Number line, got the equal to part, so filled in circle. Greater than means it's got to go to the right. Number greater than negative 6. Choose negative 5. So negative 5 times a negative 5 has to be less than or equal to 30. Negative 5 times negative 5 is 25. 25 is less than 30. Last example here, we got negative half is greater than or equal to negative 4a divided by negative 4, which is really multiplied by a negative 1/4. So now I have a negative 1/8 is now less than or equal to a. By graphing it, 1 divided by 8 is 0.125, so this would be a negative 0.125. Need to have a filled in circle, has to be greater than negative 1/8, so to the right. So number greater than 1/8 or negative 0.125, I'll choose a 1. So half has to be greater than or equal to a negative 4 times a negative 1. Here I made a mistake here. It shouldn't be a negative 1, it should be a positive 1 because negative 1 is not greater than our decimal. So I have to have a positive 1. So half is greater than or equal to a negative 4. So that would be our answer there. So make sure you pay close attention. Otherwise you might make the mistake like I made here. So make sure that the number is greater than this number here. And a couple application problems. An employment agency charges a company 15% of the salary for every position filled. What salary must a company pay a new employee for the employment agency to earn a commission of at least $6,000? At least means it has to be at least 6,000 or more. So it has to be greater than or equal to 6,000. So 15% of the salary for every position. So they have to charge the company that amount. So 15% we'll write it as a decimal, so 0.15. I use the variable x for the salary. So 15% of the salary has to be greater than or equal to $6,000. Now we can solve. Divide by 0.15 on both sides. And when I do that, 6,000 divided by 0.15, I get 40,000. So x has to be greater than or equal to $40,000. So they're asking you what would be the employee's salary for you to get a 15% commission. And the last one here. Barney earns a 4% commission on what he sells. How much does he need to sell to earn at least a $750 commission on every month? 4% is 0.04. Sell we'll use as an x term. At least, greater than or equal to $750. So to get x by itself, I divide by 0.04. 750 divided by 0.04 gives us X has to be greater than or equal to 18,750. So Barney has to sell at least $18,750 worth of items to get a commission of at least $750. That was our lesson today on solving inequalities by multiplying or dividing.